Tashi and the Rainbow Spider, written by Zerah, read by Cleo Haglund. When the moon shone like a silver crescent in the dusky blue sky, Yeshi, the old storyteller, returned to the village, and all the children gathered together at the spreading apricot tree once more. What amazing story would Yeshi tell them this evening, they wondered, and which one of them would get to spin the magic top, the top that showed Yeshi which story to tell? The kind old man carefully gazed at each child's face, and from the circle chose a young girl named Lola. "Here, Lola," he said, handing her the top. "Do you remember what to do?" Without another word, the top flew from Lola's fingers, landed on the ground, and a strange gray-white picture turned up. "That looks like some kind of house, with someone really small inside it," Lola called out. "And that looks like a big spider next to it, and it's got all the colors of the rainbow on it too." "That's right, Lola," Yeshi said, holding up the top so everyone could see it clearly. "This story is about a house, a very unusual kind of house, a very unusual man named Tashi who came to live in it, and a very unusual spider who became his friend. You see, when Tashi was a little boy, he loved pretending he was a brave warrior who could defeat anyone he fought. He snapped off small branches from trees and slashed them through the air like a sword, no matter who was near. One day he accidentally hit his friend Gompir in the face, and Gompir ran away crying. After that, Tashi's father spoke to him. "It is good that you want to learn how to use a sword and protect yourself and others, my son. We will all need your strength in times to come, but you must first learn how to pay attention and calm yourself." "I know, Father," Tashi said. "I didn't want to hurt Gompir. I just didn't see him there." "It's not your fault, Tashi," his father gently said, "but it will be if you do not do something to change. Your mother and I believe that it's time you see the man who lives in the cave house high up on the snowy mountain. He will help you." "All right, Father," Tashi said. "I'll go." When his father and mother brought Tashi to the cave, he was so scared and excited he could hardly breathe. But the teacher was good-hearted and soon gave Tashi his instructions. Right away, Tashi thought, "Ha! This is going to be so easy. All I have to do is sit quietly in this cave for a while. If anyone can do that, I sure can. Then my parents will know I'm ready to be a real swordsman." In his mind, Tashi was already imagining having the great sword his parents told him they would one day make for him. It would be so filled with love, they said, that it would magically keep him and all those he cared for safe from harm. Just at that moment, a tiny gray-white spider floated down from the ceiling of the cave and looked straight at Tashi. Even though the spider was really doing nothing at all, Tashi was so startled that he completely forgot about staying still and quiet. He reached out to catch it, but the spider just jumped away and vanished. Every day after that in the cave, when Tashi began thinking about the sword, or fighting, or the spider, it came down and hung right in front of him again. And every day it seemed to Tashi it only grew bigger and bigger. "How am I supposed to sit still with this awful spider here?" Tashi complained. "It keeps waving its legs at me and making me mad." Then he thought, "If I don't get rid of the spider, I'll never get my sword." "I know," Tashi told himself. "Next time I come to the cave, I'll bring a knife with me and kill it." But Tashi's plan didn't work. When he thrust his knife at the spider, it simply disappeared. Finally, Tashi rushed off to see his teacher and cried, "I really want to be calm, but the spider in the cave is driving me crazy, and it's making fun of me too. I even tried to kill it with a knife, but I couldn't." The teacher smiled and said, "Tashi, here are some pieces of colored chalk. Instead of a knife, take them with you. Whenever you get angry and upset, go ahead and lash out at that terrible spider." All the children sat up straighter then, and Lola the straightest. Yeshi sensed their questions. Why did the teacher tell Tashi to hit the spider with chalk? What was Tashi going to do to the spider? And how was he ever going to get the magic sword? Yeshi paused, put his hands to his heart, and took a very deep breath. "Oh, my dear children," he chuckled. "It seems you are just like our friend Tashi. He too very much wanted to know what was going to happen with him and the spider. Well, I will tell you. Tashi wished the spider would let him be, but back in the cave things were even worse than before. Twisting this way and that, the spider swung all around Tashi. Then it stopped and stared right at him with all of its 4 great big spider eyes. Tashi couldn't stand it anymore. He grabbed the chalk and attacked the spider over and over again. But when Tashi at last opened his eyes wide, he saw that the spider was not only alive, it had become something glorious. What had been a tiny gray-white spider was now as big as a man, and it shone with all the colors of the rainbow. The spider smiled at Tashi in a friendly way and began to speak. "Tashi," he said, "I am called Manjushri. I know that you felt angry and afraid and wanted to harm me, but you see I am unmarked. Now take a good look at yourself." Tashi was amazed. He was covered with slashes of colored chalk from head to foot. Tashi bowed to the spider, and Manjushri, lifting all 8 legs to his heart, bowed back. In that instant, a great sword appeared in the cave. It was just as Tashi's parents had promised him, only this sword also had brilliant colored flames streaming from it. "The sword now belongs to you, Tashi," Manjushri said, "and this cave will always be your home. In your life, you may come and dwell here any time you wish." "Thank you, Manjushri," Tashi said, "and don't worry about me. From now on, I'm going to learn to be as calm and peaceful as a spider." The end.
Abia aștepți următoarea poveste? Abonează-te la canalul de YouTube Totul este posibil pentru a primi o notificare când publicăm noile episoade. Noapte bună, copii!